Good morning, students. Welcome to the new session. In this session, we will discuss about computer's memory. In the previous session, you have learned about the computer hardware. Once again, something review. And the computer's hardware divided into two categories. One is CPU and another one is peripheral devices. Furthermore, CPU is divided into three parts, that is control unit, arithmetic and logic unit, and memory unit. So we have already discussed about control unit and arithmetic and logic unit. So today we'll discuss about computer's memory. In fact, the memory unit of the computer has already been compared to human memory. But human being cannot remember everything, so we write in a notebook. The notebook is a permanent copy of data or information. Similarly, the computer's memory is limited. In order to supplement this memory, the computer is provided with a memory using several secondary devices, primary memory. So, instead of a notebook, the computer stores data in media like the floppy disk, hard disk, and magnetic disk, that is the secondary memory. The secondary memory stores the data and instructions permanently. As you know, there are two kinds of computer's memory. One is primary memory or main memory, and secondary memory or mass memory. You can also say it external memory or internal memory. So, primary memory is accessible directly by the processing unit. RAM is an example of primary memory. But what happened in RAM? As soon as the computer is switched off, the contents of the primary memory, means RAM, is lost. That is why we need secondary memory or external memory that is used to store our information permanently. So you have already learned in previous classes like class 10, class 9, class 8 that computer uses two types of memory. One is the primary memory or internal memory, and the another one is secondary memory or external memory or mass memory. So today we discuss about internal memory first, because internal memory is a part of the CPU. As we have explained in computer organizational diagram, you have seen memory in two categories: main memory or primary memory and secondary memory, that is the secondary storage. So today we will discuss about internal memory or primary memory, that is the parts of the CPU, and during the processing this memory is used. So now, simply, what is memory? So memory holds data to be processed, instructions for processing the data, that is the sense of program, and information, means processed data. So basically, what memory holds? Memory holds data that is supplied by the user and that is to be processed. Also instructions that carry out the processing, and informations. Means data, instructions and informations hold in memory. So, in fact, memory unit is a storage place where data, instructions and informations are stored. All instructions or data are stored in the memory unit before being used by the ALU. It means computer uses two types of memory. One memory used for the data currently being processed, and another memory, that is a storage device basically right now, is used for storing information permanently. So understand this concept. Just we will discuss about the types of memory. So in fact, the computer's memory divided into two parts, as I have explained earlier. One is the primary memory or internal memory or main memory, and secondary memory, external memory or mass memory. So now, first of all, we discuss about the primary memory. Now furthermore, primary memory is divided into three main categories. First one is read-only memory, that is called ROM. Next one is random access memory, that is called RAM, and cache memory. Here spelling is CACHE, but it is pronounced as cache, CASH, cache memory. First of all, and the secondary memory we'll discuss in another session. Today we will discuss about the ROM and RAM basically. Now the question is, what is ROM? And ROM and RAM both are internal memory. So, as the name suggests, it stands for read-only memory. That means in this memory, user can only read from it, but are not allowed to write or store anything into it. Means just you see in the figure, each and every internal memory is known as chip memory. So that ROM is also displayed like this one, chip memory. So basically, ROM is used to store the instructions provided by the manufacturer, which holds the instructions to check basic hardware interconnector and to load operating system from appropriate storage device. In fact, ROM contains certain pre-coded instructions for controlling the operations of a computer. So, these instructions are pre-programmed during the manufacturing of the chip itself. Basically, ROM is non-volatile memory. That means the stored element of it cannot be erased or changed. So earlier, in fact, you student, here you clear the concept. ROM and RAM both are internal memory. The ROM, read-only memory, it means what? That means user cannot write anything into it indirectly. Means all the contents that is stored in ROM is already stored by the manufacturer during the development of the chip. So the user can only read the instructions that is stored into the ROM. So when we consider about the ROM, the storage elements in the ROM are not available to the user. These elements contain certain pre-coded instructions which are used by the computer. So basically we can say this memory means ROM is used by the computer. This is just like the textbook. When we compare between ROM and RAM, then you easily understand it. So what you learnt about the ROM? The ROM, as the name suggests, in ROM the elements is stored during the manufacturing of the chip, and the program stored in it is written electronically. So user can only read instructions from it. User means here just the computer. That means this memory is used by the computer for processing. That means to load the operating system and all the attached hardware interconnector works. This is the responsibility of ROM. Now, just little bit about the RAM. RAM stands for random access memory, and you just see in the figure, this is the RAM that is already insulated in RAM slot in the computer. Random access memory is used for primary storage in computers to hold active information of data and instructions. In ROM, you cannot store any data, but in RAM you can hold. You can say whenever any data is supplied by the user, then first it goes to the computer's memory, where in RAM. So RAM can hold the active informations or the data that is currently being processed, and along with the instructions. So this memory is also called read-write memory. And in ROM, each element of RAM is a memory location in which data can be stored. Now, what is location? Each location has a unique address, and using this address, data can be directly retrieved or stored. It means RAM is just like a sorting shelf, and each and every shelf contains the informations in the sense of data and instruction. So, in this type of memory, user can read as well as write information. That is why it is called read-write memory. In fact, RAM is used to store data and instructions that is currently being processed. So, RAM is volatile. Why? Because the content of the memory get erased when the power is switched off. Now, what's the difference between ROM and RAM? Basically, ROM stands for read-only memory, whereas RAM stands for random access memory. Now, ROM is permanent memory or non-volatile memory. Why? Because the stored element in the ROM will not be erased even if computer is getting switched off, because the information instructions stored into RAM by the manufacturer during the chip, and the instruction is written electronically, so that in ROM the stored information is not erased. But on the other hand, in RAM, what happened? The stored information in RAM will be erased when computer is switched off. That is why we need additional memory, that is secondary memory, to store our information permanently. That means RAM is volatile memory. Volatile means temporary memory, which hold information till the computer is on, and whenever the computer is getting switched off, all the informations stored in RAM will be lost. Now the another one is, you just for example, you use two types of book while studying. One is the textbook and another one is the notebook. Just see the differences. Textbook especially written one time, and after that textbook is used for reading. But notebook is the blank, where you can read, you can write anything, and you can also read the written things. So for easily understand of ROM and RAM, so basically ROM is just like textbook and RAM is just like notebook. Now the another thing is, RAM is available in different size or different capacities, and the capacity of the RAM is measured in kilobyte, megabyte and gigabyte, and the RAM size is varies, means it's available in different size, whereas the size of ROM is fixed because this one is chip dependent. So the assignment is just you write the difference between ROM and RAM, at least 3 points with certain reason. So students, in next session we will discuss about the cache memory and also the units of the memory, and then once again the how computer works. So till then, have a nice day and thanks.